Okay. So good evening, one and all. If you are from India, and hello everyone to rest of the people from other parts of the world, and welcome to our viewers on YouTube and Facebook. We are extremely happy to be live today for this second session on Varga Prakriti. It's on Chakravala. So without much ado, let me just start. I am the head of the academic affairs at Raising a Mathematician Foundation. My name is R. Hariharan, and let me share my screen. So I'm sharing my screen right now, and so you should be able to see my screen. Okay, let me just quickly confirm whether you are able to see my screen. Whether you are able to see my screen. Yes, you're able to see my screen. Okay, good. So people are able to see my screen. So let us start directly. Let us dive into the topic. And before we start with the Chakravala algorithm, I want to do a quick review of the previous session. So for people who are joining for this session, the previous session is available on YouTube and Facebook. So please take a look at that video if you are not already seen the first session. So equations of the form x square equal to dy square plus 1 are called as quadratic indeterminate equations or Pell's equation. They are also called as Varga Prakriti by Brahma. Varga Prakriti are nothing but the quadratic indeterminate equations. So we are interested in finding out integer solutions for x and y. And if you observe carefully, one of the trivial integer solution is x equal to 1 and y equal to 0. Because if you substitute x equal to 1 and y equal to 0, this equation is always satisfied. So we are not interested in 1, 0 as a solution. So we want the smallest positive integer solution for this type of equations. And d can be any positive integer over here. But again, if you take d as a perfect square, then it is easy to factorize, and it's not an interesting computation of the solution. So what we are truly interested in is a time when d is not a perfect square. So Bhaskaracharya in 1150 CE designed the Chakravala method to find non-trivial integer solutions to this equation. It's basically an extension of Brahmagupta's work on quadratic indeterminate equation. And the idea for Chakravala was given by Acharya Jayadeva in the 10th century. So you can see that there is a clear lineage of research in the way we understand today on how the contributions are incrementally done from Brahmagupta to Bhaskaracharya. That is, in the period of 400 to 500 years, we have gone from the idea of quadratic indeterminate equations to the time when these equations were actually solved. So in 1930, Krishnaswamy Iyengar produced an elementary argument to prove that ancient Indian Chakravala algorithm designed to solve Pell's equation halts. That means the algorithm doesn't go in a loop, or in other words, the equation will always result in a solution. But it had some gaps, and Bowalt in 2014 provides a correct and a shorter proof. So why is this important? Why do we care about these type of equations? Why do we care about these type of equations? We care about this type of equations for the following reason. X square equal to dy square plus 1 can be written as d is equal to x square minus 1 divided by y square. X square minus 1 divided by y square. And d can be further written as x square divided by y square minus 1 divided by y square. And if I assume that y goes to infinity, if y goes to infinity, then what will happen is 1 upon y square will be approximately 0. So I can ignore this part and I can approximate the value of d as x square divided by y square. But note that I can do this only if y becomes larger and larger. Okay. So what has happened now? Square root of d is approximately x divided by y if y tends to infinity. That means if I can find out larger solutions for this type of equations, I can take the ratio of x and y and obtain the square root of d. I can take the ratio of x and y for larger values of y. Remember, if y becomes larger, automatically x will become large. Why? Because x square minus dy square equal to 1. So if y goes up, x has to go up for the equation to be satisfied. And therefore, we want to find out larger solutions for x and y to obtain the approximate square root of d. So the larger solutions you find, better will be your approximation. Okay, is that clear to everyone? We want larger solutions for x and y so that we can obtain the approximate square root of d. Excellent. Excellent. So it's very clear to everyone. So Brahmagupta gives the Bhavana method. Bhavana means development. So Brahmagupta is using the first solution to generate more and more solutions. And why do we want more and more solutions? So that we can obtain the larger values of x and y. So Brahmagupta said that if I have one solution, then there are infinitely many solutions. Okay. So logical transition of Brahmagupta's idea. So how is Brahmagupta coming up with this claim that if there is one solution, then there are infinitely many solutions? Okay. So some of you we gave a problem set for solving after the first session was done, and you must have gone through these ideas already. So it is a quick review. This is how it all began. He starts with a Pythagorean triplet, a square minus b square 2ab and a square plus b square. So you take values of a and b and it will generate integer sided right angle triangle, or it will generate integer sided Pythagorean triplet. And the nice thing about this Pythagorean triplet that Brahmagupta designed was that hypotenuse is an integer which can be expressed as sum of two squares, or this Pythagorean triplet can be written as a square plus b square the whole square is equal to a square minus b square the whole square plus 2ab the whole square. It's pretty straightforward. There seems to be some connection issue. Just a minute, I will figure out what is the issue. Can you see my screen now? Okay. Am I audible as well? Okay. So Brahmagupta extended that Pythagorean triplet result to generate something called as the Brahmagupta's identity. This identity was rediscovered by Fibonacci in the 12th century, and later on, Euler used complex numbers to derive the same identity. But we should also understand that Brahmasputa Siddhanta is where Brahmagupta's work on quadratic indeterminate equation appears, and it was translated in Arabic, and later on it was translated to Latin and Spanish, and that is where Fibonacci has landed up with his identity. So and we can further generalize this Brahmagupta's identity by replacing b square by db square, d square by dd square, and you get the following result. This is a nice result which shows that these type of integers are closed in a multiplication. That is, if I take a number of the form a square plus db square, multiply it with c square plus dd square. Is my screen still not visible? It is visible. Okay, okay. Because I received a message from a student saying that it is not visible. Okay. Okay. And if I multiply a square plus db square and take another number of the same form, c square plus dd square, the resultant number is also of the same form. If you see, this is of the form m square plus dn square. So these type of functions are closed under multiplication. So this has a very modern, straight out of textbook group theoretic argument. So if we again replace d by minus d, we get the Bhavana result of Brahmagupta. So what does this mean is, if x1 square minus dy1 square equal to m and x2 square minus dy2 square equal to n, we get x1 square minus dy1 square multiplied by x2 square minus dy2 square equal to mn. So we have just multiplied the two, and we know how to factorize or how to decompose this, or how to multiply these two terms. And using the result from equation 3, we can write x1 square minus dy1 square multiplied by x2 square minus dy2 square. So in place of a, we have x1. In place of a, we have x1. So let me use a different color for the. So in place of a, we have x1. In place of b, you have y1. In place of c, you have x2. And in place of d, you have y2. Okay. So see that from equation 3, you can write the following. You can write this. And that is equal to mn. That is equal to mn. Okay. So let us take a very simple example. So let us take x square minus 2y square equal to 1. The first equation is easy to find out by doing trial and error. So let's say the first solution you obtain by trial and error, that is x1 is equal to 3 and y1 equal to 2. So 3 comma 2 is the solution. Why? Because 3 square minus 2 times 2 square is 9 minus 8 equal to 1. So 3 comma 2 satisfies this equation. Okay. Then you can use Brahmagupta Samasabhavana result to produce the other solutions. How? So if you consider x1 comma y1 as 3 comma 2, and since you don't know the second solution, consider x2 comma y2 also as 3 comma 2, and then you use the Samasabhavana result, that is the new x1, the new value of x is x1 x2 plus d y1 y2, and y is x1 y2 plus y1 x2. Okay, so what will be your x? Your x will be 3, which is x1 multiplied by 3, plus in place of d you have this 2 times y1 multiplied by y2, which gives you 9 plus 8 17, and y will be x1 y2. This is your x1, this is your y2. So 3 multiplied by 2 6 plus y1 x2 2 multiplied by 3, which is 12. So you can get the next solution as 17 comma 12, and you can verify that 17 square minus 2 times 12 square, which is 17 square is 289, 12 square is 144 multiplied by 2 is 288, and you get 1. Okay. So what we have obtained is a larger solution using a smaller solution. And if you see, 3 divided by 2 is 1.5, 17 divided by 12 is 1.416666 recurring. And if you use x1 as 3 comma 2 and x2 as 17 comma 12, we can find the next solution. We can find the next solution. So let me clear all pen markings, and let us consider. So now, since we know the second solution, let us consider x1 y1 as 3 comma 2, sorry, 3 3 2 3 2, and x2 y2 as 17 comma 12. Okay, we know that x is x1 x2 plus d times y1 y2. So that is 51 plus 4 times 12 is 48, which is 99, and y is x1 y2, which is 3 times 12, plus y1 x2, 2 times 17, and that is 36 plus 34, which is 70. So we have obtained the new solution as 99 comma 70, 99 by 70, 99 by 70. Okay, is this clear to everyone? How are we getting 99 by 70? By using 3 by 2 as the solution and 17 by 12 as the solution. Excellent. Excellent. If there are any comments, questions on Facebook or YouTube, then we can respond to that as well. We have teaching assistants who are monitoring any comments or questions that you have on Facebook or YouTube Live as well. So what exactly does 99 by 70 denote? 99 divided by 70, if you observe, is a closer approximation to square root of 2 than 17 by 12 was. 17 by 12 was. Okay. So now let us proceed Now what you can do is, use x1 comma y1, and use x3 comma y3, and let's find out the solution. New solution of x will be multiply the two x's, that is 3 and 99, plus 2 times multiply the y's, 2 times 70. So 99 times 3 is 297, and 2 times 70 is 280. And if you add the 2, it will give you 577. And y is multiply the first x and multiply the second y. So 3 multiplied by 70 plus 2 multiplied by 99. So which is 210 plus 198, and that comes to 408. That comes to 408. Okay. Clear? So 577 by 408 is a closer approximation to square root of 2 than the previous one. Okay. So someone is asking, is Sarah, is Chakrawala about finding the first non-trivial solution? Yes, Chakrawala is about finding first non-trivial solution, because Brahmagupta had laid the path for it, because he couldn't solve every type of this equation. But what he could do is, if you have one solution, he could give you infinitely many solutions. So Anuvindan is saying, will we get a solution if we do Bhavna using only the second solution? That's a good point. So let us do Bhavna of the second solution with itself. Let us do Bhavna of the second solution with itself. So let's take x2, y2 is 17 by 12. And let us take another solution, which is also x2, y2, 17, 12. And let's do Bhavana of x2 comma y2 with itself and see what you get. So the new value of x will be 17 times 17 plus 2 times. 2 is your d. 2 is your d. 12 times 12. So if the d was 3, then I would have taken 3 instead of 2. Okay. And that is 17 square is 289. 289 multiplied by 2 will give you 570. 17 times 17 is 289 plus 12 times 12, 144 times 2 is 288, which will again give you 577. So y is 17 times 12, the first x and the second y, plus the second x and the first y. So that gives you 17 times 12 times 2, because the same number is to be added twice. And that gives you 204 plus 204, which is 408. What does this mean is, if you use the first and the third solution, you will get the fourth solution. And if you use the second and the second solution also, you get the fourth solution. Okay. So the question is, if I take the nth solution and take the mth solution, will I get the n plus mth solution? Okay, that is the question that you have to ask. In fact, we had spent 1 week on this quadratic indeterminate equations for batch D in 2017, and we dive deep into these questions on whether Samasa Bhavana is analogous to addition. That is, if you add the first and the fifth solution, do you get sixth solution? So the sixth solution can be obtained in the following ways. You can use the first and the fifth solution to generate the sixth solution, or you can use the second and the fourth solution to generate the sixth solution, or you can do a bhavana of the third solution with itself to generate the sixth solution. Okay. So let's see something very interesting. Baudhayana, who wrote, who gave this result of square root of 2 in Sulba Sutras, this is the approximate square root of 2 which he gave. Okay. And surprisingly, if you simplify this, it simplifies to 577 by 408. So Baudhayana also found out the approximate square root of 2, but he was somewhere around 800 BCE, whereas Brahmagupta was around 628 CE. What is the point that we are making is, separated by more than 1000 years, Brahmagupta and Baudhayana came out with the same approximation for square root of 2. Came out with the same approximation for square root of 2. Only difference is Brahmagupta is using algebra, Baudhayana used geometry. Baudhayana Sulva Sutras is full of geometrical constructions and results related to geometry. Okay. So what is Bhaskara's contribution? What is the novel idea of Bhaskara? So Bhaskara said, or Bhaskara just used Brahmagupta's result of Samasa Bhavana and said that if you are given two triples, x1, y1, m and x2, y2, m, then we know that we can generate a new triple. And how do we generate new triple? x1, x2 plus dy1, y2, comma x1, y2 plus y1, x2, and the right hand side gets multiplied. So right hand side becomes mn. So if you observe the right hand side is becoming larger. So this right hand side is becoming larger. Okay. So suppose we want to solve x square minus dy square equal to 1. Note that I have changed the notation slightly. I am taking a lowercase for d. And if we start by taking x equal to a and y equal to b, let us assume that we substitute x equal to a, y equal to b, resulting in the right hand side to be k. That is a square minus db square equal to k. This is what we are obtaining by substituting x as a and y as b. Instead, we can also start with y equal to 1 and x equal to m. So I am fixing the value of y. Instead of b, I am fixing it to be 1. And I am taking the corresponding value of x to be m. So we will have k equal to m square minus d. So in this equation, x square minus dy square equal to 1, consider x as m, and consider y as 1. Okay, obviously it will not satisfy. You will get your right hand side to be m square minus d. So we get a triple m comma 1 comma m square minus d. Okay. Baudhayana found square root of 2 somewhere around 800 BCE. So we don't know the exact dates. The Sulba Sutras were written over the period of time. So we don't know exactly what is the time period. But it's somewhere around 800 BC. Okay. And so we now have two triples, A, B, K and M1 M square minus D. So using these two triples, we can generate a new triple. And how do we generate a new triple? Using the same Samasa Bhavana method of Brahmagupta. That is, you can multiply A and M. You can multiply B and 1. Sorry, B and 1. But remember that there is a D along with that. And then for the value of y, for the value of y, what you do is you multiply a with 1 and you multiply b with m. You multiply b with m. And your right hand side also gets multiplied. So your right hand side also gets multiplied. That is, your right hand side is k multiplied by m square minus d. K multiplied by m square minus d. Okay. Yes, Anuvindan, let me go back to the previous slide. What is a triple, Avni? Triple is just a collection of 3 objects. So if they satisfy the Pythagorean equation, then it's called as a Pythagorean triplet. If it satisfies the Brahmagupta's quadratic equations, then we call it as a triple for quadratic indeterminate equation. The D is same as the capital D. I have just changed the notation. I have put everything in lowercase just for convenience. Yes, Soham, you are right. It is from the second problem of the problem set. D and D are same. Oh, what is the value of D? That D can be anything. So D will be fixed. D will be given. It's not a variable, but D can be any number that is given. Yes, so these are the triples that satisfy Brahmagupta's equation. Yes. Okay. How square root of 2 was estimated by whom? Brahmagupta or Baudhayana? So Brahmagupta's method is solve this equation, find out larger values for x and y, take this ratio, and you will get the approximate square root of d. Baudhayana estimated the square root of 2 by using area of rectangle and squares. Okay, but that will be out of the scope of today's session. We did one session, I remember, I think it was in 2014, that we discussed how Baudhayana might have arrived at this relation or equation, or the approximate value of square root that he found out. Okay. Yes, so it is not that the square root of 2 approximation was only available in Indian civilization. Yes, there were other civilizations also who had explored square root of 2, because the square root of 2 is a very important value, right? Because it is the length, it helps you to determine the length of the diagonal of a square, and that makes the square root of 2 important. Okay. Okay. So let me proceed. So what Bhaskara is doing is a very important step in obtaining the first solution. He said that we can see that the right hand side is becoming larger. So if we can divide throughout by k square, then this is what will happen. Your right hand side divided by k square will result in m square minus d divided by k. But note that on the left hand side, each of the values will only get divided by k. You are technically dividing by k square, but each of the x is getting divided by k, and each of the y is getting divided by k. So you have generated a new triple from abk and m1 m square minus d. and that triple is AM plus DB divided by K, A plus MB divided by K, and M square minus D divided by K. Is this triple very clear to everyone? This is the crux of Chakrawala. This is the crux of Chakrawala. This is the crux of Bhaskaracharya's algorithm to find the non-trivial smallest positive integer solution. Okay. So some people want to take a look at the previous slide. So I'm taking a pause so that you can note down whatever you want. Can I proceed? Okay. So the question is, how do we know that the triple has all integers? Remember, our focus is on finding out integer solution. Non-integer solutions, irrational solutions are not difficult over here. The difficult part is to get the integer solutions for this type of equations. Okay. So how can we ensure, or how do we know that the triple has all integers? Okay. If we ensure that A plus MB is a multiple of K, the other two numbers also will be integers. The other two numbers also will be integers. That means if we know, or if we can figure out a way by which this is an integer, then the other two are free. They come for free. That means ensuring that A plus MB by K is an integer, it will automatically ensure M square minus D by K is an integer and AM plus DB by K is an integer. Why? We know that A square minus DB square is K. We know that A square minus DB square is K. Okay, I'm going back to the previous slide. Yes, this was in the problem set. We are just reviewing the material before we can dive into Chakrawala. Vishwanathan, we will share the slides so you can take a look at it, because this is the question 2 of the problem set. Okay. So we know that A square minus DB square equal to K. Now note that we want to somehow prove that M square minus D is divisible by K. So somewhere I have to bring M square minus D. I have DB square. I have DB square. Okay. That means if I can bring m square b square in this equation, then I can take b square common and I can have m square minus d. That is why I am adding m square plus b square on both the sides. I am adding m square plus b square on both the sides. So please note this step. Please note this step. Why? Because I want m square minus d, because I am going to prove that m square minus d is a multiple of k. I am going to prove m square minus d is a multiple of k. Okay. So why do we have to show divisibility by k to bring it to 1? Because if it is not divisible by k, the three terms will not be an integer. Remember, in the triple we had three values. We had the value of x, we had the value of y, and we had a constant term. And if they are not divisible by k, then we will not get an integer. We are interested in integer solution. Okay. So do you understand why we added m square plus m square b square on both sides? Because we wanted to factorize m square minus d. Or okay. So m square minus d is the value of k if you substitute y as 1 and x as m. So m square minus d is the value of k if you substitute x as m and y as 1. Note that it's a if condition. It's not always true. It's not always true. It is only true in a particular case. Okay. So you can factorize. You can take b square common and you will get m square minus d. And you can take a square on the right hand side and you will get k plus m square b square minus a square. And m square b square minus a square can be factorized as mb plus a, mb minus a. mb plus a, mb minus a. Okay. And we know that we know that a plus mb is divisible by k. A plus mb is divisible by k. Okay. Remember how we started all this? We started all this by saying that if we can ensure that a plus mb is divided by k is an integer. That means if we can ensure that a plus mb is a multiple of k, it will automatically ensure m square minus d is a multiple of k. That is how we started. So we know that, or we will ensure, we will make sure that m plus mb is a multiple of k. This is a multiple of k. Right? So this is a multiple of k. Obviously, k is a multiple of k. So my right hand side is divisible by k. My right hand side is divisible by k. My right hand side is divisible by k. So my left hand side should also be divisible by k. My left hand side should also be divisible by k. Okay. And since my left hand side is divisible by k, there are two possibilities. Either k divides b square or k divides m square minus d. But remember that the GCD of k and b is 1. Why? Because GCD of a and b is 1. GCD of a and b is 1. Why? We will always take the values of a and b such that it doesn't have any common factor. So a and b are co-prime, because if there is a common factor, you can always divide by that common factor and reduce the value of a and b. And since GCD of a and b is 1, it automatically means that the GCD of b and k is 1. Why? Because the GCD of b and k divides the GCD of a and b. GCD of B and K divides GCD of A and B. So if I tell you that X divides 1, that means X has to be 1. X has to be 1. That means the GCD of K and B is 1. It means that K has to divide M square minus D. That means M square minus D divided by K has to be an integer. M square minus D divided by K has to be an integer. Right? So in this triple, what we have ensured is, if A plus MB divided by K is an integer, we know that M square minus D divided by K is an integer. That means right hand side is an integer, and therefore left hand side should be an integer. And left hand side itself is a subtraction of two numbers, out of which one is an integer. So automatically the other number has to be an integer. So that means if A plus MB by K is an integer, this and this both are integers. So we have proved that dividing by K square always results in integer triples. Dividing by K square results in integer triples. Okay? Is this clear to everyone? That we have proved that if I can ensure A plus MB is divisible by K, then it automatically means that M square minus D is divisible by K. Okay? And AM plus DB is also divisible by K. Why is RHS divisible by K? So RHS has a K, so this is divisible by K, and we assume, or we will ensure, that A plus MB is divisible by K. Remember that the triple, what was the triple? The triple that we were talking about is AM plus DB divided by K, A plus MB divided by K, and M square minus D divided by K. M square minus D divided by K. Okay? M square minus D divided by K. So A plus MB is a multiple of K. A plus MB is a multiple of K. So we know that right hand side is divisible by K, which means left hand side has to be divisible by K. But B and K's GCD is 1. Otherwise, remember, if the GCD of B and K is not 1, then K can divide B square. So it is not necessary that K has to divide M square minus D. Then it is not necessary that K has to divide M square minus D. The fact that the GCD of B square and K is 1, or B and K is 1 for that matter, it would mean that K does not divide B square. And if K does not divide B square, it means that K has to divide M square minus D. Okay? Once you have eliminated the impossible, whatever remains, however improbable it may be, is the truth. This is what Sherlock Holmes says. Right? Sherlock Holmes' approach is eliminate all the impossible. What remains, however improbable it may be, is the truth. Okay? So what is the story so far? The story so far is, if you have two triples A, B, K and M1 M square minus D, you will get the new triple AM plus DB divided by K, A plus MB divided by K, and M square minus D divided by K. And we know that all these three are integers. If, note that it starts with an if. So you have to ensure that A plus MB divided by K is an integer. So we will select A, B, and K and M in such a way that this will always hold true. That this triple will always be a true statement. Okay. So what has Bhaskara done? Bhaskara has successfully managed to extend Brahmagupta's Bhavana method to reduce the right hand side in the triple to ensure that the right hand side does not grow to infinity, because now you have managed to reduce the right hand side, but we still don't know that the right hand side will come down to 1. Okay. It seems that Bhaskara was clear because he has solved many equations in his book on Bijaganit using this Chakravala method. Intuitively, it seems that the algorithm will work because the right hand side m square minus d by k is smaller than the two right hand side we started with, that is k and m square minus d. So we are reducing it further, or I don't know whether the two right hand side will be smaller than k, but it is definitely going to be smaller than m square minus d. I should have been more careful here. I should have said that the right hand side is definitely going to be smaller than m square minus d. Okay. So pausing for a minute on the previous slide. Akash, can I proceed? Okay. So this process is iterative. We will keep doing this process till the right hand side is 1. Till the right hand side is 1. Okay. This is the Chakravala algorithm. Let us apply this algorithm. Let us apply this algorithm to solve an example. Let us apply this algorithm to solve this example. Okay, let us all do this together. Let us all do this together. Okay, let me go to my notes and let us solve this together. Okay, so let us write down the triple that we had got using Bhaskara's approach. And what was the triple that he talked about? And that was AM plus DB divided by K, right? A plus MB divided by K and M square minus D divided by K. So we will keep this handy when we are solving. We will keep this handy when we are solving. What is the equation that we are trying to solve? X square minus 29y square equal to 1. X square minus 29y square equal to 1. Okay. So what we will start with is take the smallest value of y. Take the smallest value of y. Why I am so worried about y is, remember, y square every time will get multiplied with 29. So smaller values of y will help us ensure that our multiplications don't go out of our control. And please use calculators, okay, because the focus is on applying this algorithm and not on testing your calculations. So don't worry about the calculation and do it using calculator. Okay. So let us fix the value of y as 1. So let me take y as 1. If I take y as 1, I will have some x square minus 29. And make sure that we always keep this right hand side as small as possible. Okay. What is the nearest square of 29? So I can take x as 5. I can take x as 5 and my right hand side will be minus 4. Or I can take x as 6 and my right hand side can be 7. So I have two choices. I can take x as 5 and get the right hand side as minus 4. Or I can take x as 6 and get the right hand side as 7. Whatever way you prefer. Since in absolute terms, minus 4 is smaller than 7, let us take x as 5 and your right hand side as minus 4. Okay. Is this clear how we started with the initial values? We have to ensure that the right hand side comes down to 1. We have to ensure that the right hand side comes down to 1. Okay. Now this is A, this is B, and this is K. This is A, B, and K. Okay. Now we will go to, so this is like step 0. This is like step 0. Now let us go to the next step. So what is the next step? You have to ensure that A plus MB, so that is 5 plus M. M is an unknown. M we don't know. 5 plus MB. B is 1 divided by K. Divided by K. You can take mod K as well, but divided by K is an integer. Is an integer. Is an integer. Okay. This can be actually taken as mod K as well, because remember it was inside the square root. It is inside the it is inside the square term. So you can also consider it as mod K. But on the right hand side it has to be K, because on the right hand side there was a K in the numerator and you divided by K square. So one of the K's get cancelled. What remains is the other K. So the right hand side can be negative. Okay. So what can be possible values of M such that 5 plus M by minus 4 is an integer? What can be possible values of M? What can be possible values of M such that 5 plus M divided by minus 4 is an integer? So you can take M as 3. Very good. You can take M as 3. You can take M as 7. Right? You can take M as minus 1 as well. Very good. But remember, we want the right hand side. Again, keep focusing on the right hand side for selecting the value of M. Now you have choice. You have many values of M. So you have a choice. And how will I select M? I will make sure that the right hand side is smaller. And to make sure that the right hand side is smaller, I will make sure that M square minus D is smaller. So for example, I can take M as 7. If I take M as 7, my M square minus D will be 7 square minus 29, which is 20. Okay. If M is 7. And if I take M is 3, then it will be my M square minus D is 3 square minus 29, which is minus 20. Which is minus 20. So either you can select M equal to 3 or you can select M equal to 7. Okay. M equal to 3 or M equal to 7. So let's take M equal to 3. Some of you are saying M equal to 3, M equal to 7. Let us take M equal to 3. So if M equal to 3, what will be my new value of x? My new value of x will be 5 times 3, because a is 5, m is 3, plus d is 29, d is 1, divided by your mod k, which is 4. Okay, and then you have a plus mb. A plus mb. Nivesh, why not -1? Good question. If you take m as -1, then -1 square minus d will be -28. So that is a larger number, right? So your right hand side will be larger. We want the right hand side to be smaller. We want to reduce the right hand side. Okay. Let me rub some of the chaos. Let me rub some of the chaos over here. Okay. So Rita, if you take m as 11, see what you get, m square minus d. 11 square is 121 minus 29. You are making your life difficult because you are taking a larger value. Yes, you can take m as 15, but what is 15 square minus d? 15 square minus d will be 225 minus 29. Yes, you can take 7. 7 or 3, there is no difference in the choice. Okay, you are allowed to take either. Then a plus mb. So that is 5 plus m multiplied by 3. Okay, so for the time being, let us take k as -4 only. Okay, it doesn't matter whether you take k as 4 or k as -4. I will tell you why in a minute. What is your value of y? Your value of y is 5 plus m. So 5 plus 3, 8. 5 plus 3 divided by k, and m square minus d. M square minus d, that is 3 square minus d divided by k. So I get 5 multiplied by 3, 15 plus 29, 44. 44 divided by -4 is -11. 5 plus 3 is 8. 8 divided by -4 is -2. And 3 square 20, 9 minus 29 is -20 divided by -4. So you get, this is equivalent to 1125. That's why I said it doesn't matter. Remember, it is x squared. So either -11 will satisfy the equation or +11 will satisfy this equation. So what we are getting is 11 square minus 29 times 2 square is equal to 5. This is the new triple that we generated. This is the new triple that we generated. Okay. So by ensuring that 5 plus m is divisible by 4, you have generated a triple which has all integers. Okay. Naren, if the chat is distracting, don't look at the chats, but it will be helpful for people to respond so that we know that the session is interactive. We know that the session is interactive. So if the chats are distracting you, don't take a look at the chats unless you have a question. Unless you have a question. Is this clear till now? 11 to 5. We have obtained a new triple. 11 to 5, and you can verify. Please, you are allowed to use calculators to verify everything. So 11 to 5. Have you understood why it doesn't matter whether you take -11 or 11? What matters is the right hand side. Please note that in the right hand side there is no mod k. You can take mod k in only for the left hand side because it is inside the square. Okay, it is inside the square. So now I have new value of a, b, and k. This is my new a, this is my new b, this is my new k. This is my new a, this is my new b, this is my new k. Is this clear to everyone? So let us proceed in the same fashion like we did. The same fashion like we did. Okay. So what do I mean by that? What do I mean by that statement? So again, ensure that a plus mb divided by k is an integer. So a plus mb, m I don't know, b divided by 5 is an integer. Now ask yourself, what can be the possible values of m? What can be the possible values of m that will satisfy this equation? What can be possible values of m that will satisfy this equation? Very good. Some of you have said m equal to 2. Is that the only value of m? Is that the only value of m? No. So m can be 2, 7, 12, or on the negative side, m can be -3, -8, and so on. So the question is, which one should I select? Which one should I select is guided by what is the value of m square minus d. What is m square minus d? We want to ensure that m square minus d is smaller. M square minus d is smaller. So which one will you prefer? Which one will you prefer? 2. So 2 square minus d, that is 4 minus. So if you prefer m equal to 2, then it will be 2 square minus 29, which will be minus 25. If you take m equal to -3, right, you will get minus 20. If you take m equal to 7, you will get m square, 7 square minus 29, that is also 20. Okay. So I will prefer 7 or -3. I will prefer 7 or -3. Right? So let's take m equal to 7. Let's take m equal to 7. So if m equal to 7, if we take m equal to 7, what is the new value of x? What is the new value of x? 11 times 7 plus db. D is 29 times b is 2 divided by 5. A plus mb, 11 plus what is m? M is 7. And what is your right hand side? M square minus d divided by k. M square minus d is 7 square minus 29, 20 divided by k. So what? Simplify and let me know what is this triple. Simplify and let me know what is this triple. So I will give you less work. I will do 2 calculations. You do only 1 calculation. Okay. The last one is 4. The second one is 11 plus 14, 25 by 5. So I have done 2 calculations out of 3. I have been very fair in the dealing. I have solved 2/3 of the work. Is it 27? Okay. 2754. 2754. So 27 square minus 5 square equal to 4. 27 square minus 29 times 4 square. 5 square is 4. So now this is my A, this is my B, and this is my K. Okay, so yes, that is also valid. triple. Till the time your triple satisfies x square so if you get a triple of the form abk, then it should satisfy a square minus db square equal to k. Till that time, it is a valid thing. Advay is asking a very good question. After the first root, can we do Samasabhavana? Technically, you can. The reason for that is Brahmagupta gave general results for right hand side being plus or minus 1, plus or minus 2, and plus or minus 4. In fact, those questions I had included in our problem set. The idea behind including those questions in the problem set was that whenever you see the right hand side as plus or minus 4, plus or minus 2, you should jump on it and convert and directly use the result to find the integer solution, find the solution for this type of equation. Okay, but we are trying to understand the process of Chakravala, so I am not going to use that result. So let me just quickly rub these things. So now we have a new triple 2754, and we will apply the same process. We will apply the same process. And what is that process? Ensure that a plus mb, that is 27 plus m times 5 divided by 4 is an integer. Is an integer. Can you tell me what are the possible values of m? What are the possible values of m? Yes, Umeshwar, I will share the slides, but please note that unless and until you solve this, you will not understand it. So I'm not going to share how the calculations were done. I will share the slides till the previous PowerPoint slides. Okay. So 1 satisfies this equation. So m can be 1, m can be 5, m can be 9, and so on. Or m can be minus 3, minus 7, and so on. Okay. Okay. So we can use 5, m equal to 5, because 5 square minus 29 is minus 4. So we can use m equal to 5, because this is the smallest value that you will get. Is this clear to everyone? M equal to 5 is better. Sarah, yes, you're absolutely correct. We will keep doing this till we get the right hand side, till we get k equal to 1. Because that is our objective. We wanted to solve x square minus 29y square equal to 1. Okay. So let's take m equal to 5. Let's take m equal to 5. So if we take m equal to 5, what will happen? A is 27 times 5 plus d times b is also 5 divided by 4. A plus mb divided by k. A plus mb divided by k. A plus mb divided by k. What is A? 27 plus m is 5. B is 5 divided by k. And m square minus d, which is 5 square 25 minus 29, which is minus 4 divided by 4. You will have to help me with the calculations. As I am very fair, I will do 2 of them. Minus 1. 27 plus 25, 52 divided by 4 is 13. And please do one calculation. Is it 70? Very good. So 70, 13, minus 1. 17, 13, minus 1. The Akash, the right hand side is minus 1. Right hand side is minus 1. Okay, not plus 1. So if you do 70 square minus 29 times 13 square, you will get minus 1, not plus 1. Okay. Good. So now what you can do is you can do bhavana of this with itself. Why? You don't even have to think about Chakravala. You can do bhavana with itself, right? Because you know that minus 1 multiplied by minus 1. Remember, in the bhavana process, the right hand side get multiplied with each other. The right hand side get multiplied with each other. Okay. And since the right hand side gets multiplied with each other, minus 1 multiplied with minus 1 will give you plus 1. Minus 1 divided multiplied with minus 1 should give you plus 1. Yes, it is possible that it will take many steps to get to this point. But remember, you can always write a computer program to solve these type of equations. Okay. So let us do it by Chakravala only. Let us do it by Chakravala only. Or you can also do bhavana with itself. So you have to ensure. So now what you have to do is you have to ensure. So this is my new A, this is my new B, this is my new K. Ensure that A plus MB divided by minus 1 is an integer. Here you can take M, any number in under the sun. Okay. But we want to ensure that M square minus D divided by K this time should give me 1 directly. Or it should be smaller. So M square minus D divided by K. M square minus 29 divided by minus 1 should give me 1. What should I take? M. Is it possible for me to take M as right? We have not yet reached the solution. Okay, let us not do it by Chakravala. Here we have done all the hard work. So let us do it by Bhavana only. Some of you are remember, right hand side, we want the right hand side to be 1. We don't want the right hand side to be minus 1. So once you have 70, 13, minus 1, Bhaskara would say that use the result of Brahmagupta. So you should capitalize on the right hand side being plus or minus 4, plus or minus 1, plus or minus 2. Remember, that was our question 5 in the problem set. Question 5 in our problem set was generalizing those results for right hand side being plus or minus 1, plus or minus 2, plus or minus 4. So if you do bhavana of 17, 13, minus 1 with itself, so you will get 70 times 70 plus 29 times 13 times 13. This is the value of X. Your Y will be 70 times 13 plus 13 times 70. And your right hand side will be 1. What have we done? We have used the result that if X1, Y1 and K, and we are doing a binary operation, just defining a binary operation, X1, Y1, K, the new triple is X1 times X1 plus D times Y1 times Y1. Then you have X1, Y1 plus y1 x1. So that is 2x1 y1 times k square. Sorry, if this is, this is k square. And minus 1 square is 1. This was also given to you in problem set. Okay. So 70 square. So what is the value of x and y? What is the value of x and what is the value of y that you get? And this time you have solved the equation. You have got the smallest integer solution. You have got the smallest integer solution. You have got the smallest integer solution. X is 9801 and y is, what is y? Y, someone had mentioned the value of y, 1820. So 9801 and 1820 is the smallest integer solution. Okay. Good luck guessing the integer solution. Good luck guessing the integer solution, right? It is very difficult to guess this integer solution. It is very difficult to guess this integer solution. You can guess the integer solutions for smaller values of d, but even for d as big as 29, which is not that big, your values of x and y are quite big. Yes, Rita, you got it. So we keep doing Chakrawala till we get k equal to 1. Okay. Is this clear to everyone? Let us do one more simple question so that we have the process. The process is clear to all of us. Or should I take questions? Vinay sir, what do you suggest? Should I take question or should I take one more solution or one more questions? Okay, let's take questions. So if the process is clear, this is exactly what you will do irrespective of what question you get. Okay. So I urge you all to, what I urge you all is, I urge you all to solve this challenging problem. This was a challenging problem posed by Verma. And he actually announced the cash prize for this problem. Not now. This can be taken up as a practice question. Okay. If you can solve this correctly, that means you have understood the algorithm perfectly. Okay. So Verma posed this as a challenging problem and said that whoever will solve this, in fact, he gave few more questions. He said x square minus 109 y square equal to 1, x square minus 133, I think. I'm not 100% sure. He gave few more questions. X square minus 67 y square equal to 1. And Verma in the 17th century said that if anyone can solve these problems, I am ready to give a cash prize. So he believed these problems are extremely difficult to solve. So two British mathematicians, John Wallis and William Brockner, came out with a solution, but they did not come up with a general solution. So he gave the cash prize, but he was not satisfied. It was later Euler and Lagrange who came up with the continued fractions method to solve these type of equations. And in fact, if we go back 500 years, Bhaskara in his book of Bijaganit solves x square minus 61 y square equal to 1 and these two equations. Two equations solved by Bhaskara in Bijaganit book. Okay. Okay. So it is astonishing that these type of equations were solved 500 years before it was posed as a challenging problem. And remember, that Bhaskara has actually capitalized on the work of Brahmagupta, and hence it is very important to understand the contribution of Brahmagupta in this entire process. Brahmagupta's contribution is extremely important because he was the one who sowed the seeds for quadratic indeterminate equations. So others who followed Brahmagupta could build on the work that already existed. So he has actually given the idea of something like quadratic indeterminate equations. Although he could not solve all type of quadratic indeterminate equations, he could solve some of them, but he made major contributions in that area, which was later on capitalized and brought to conclusion by Acharya Jayadeva and then followed by Bhaskara. So Acharya Jayadeva came up with this Chakravala algorithm, but he couldn't, come to the final result of Chakravala. It was Bhaskara who used that idea and came up with the final result of Chakravala to generate the smallest integer solutions for these type of equations. Okay. Amit, that is a good question. You said the method of Chakravala halts, but why is it so? It seems to be correct, but we have not proved. No, Bhaskara did not give any proof that the Chakravala algorithm halts. He did not give a proof. At least I am not aware that he gave a proof in his book. But it does halt. The math is not very straightforward. I will share the paper by Bawal, who gave a proof in 2014. It will have some math. It's quite involved. So the idea is to expose you to these type of advanced topics. These topics generally come up when you pursue a BSc mathematics, probably in the second year or so. So it's kind of an advanced topic. Yes, I will. I have suggested readings. I will share it with you. Okay. There is one nice article for that appeared in At Right Angles, written by Dr. Shailesh Shirali. I will share that At Right Angles document or the article, and I will also share Pawal's proof, and probably I will also share Krishnaswamy Iyengar's paper of 1930, and then you can use whatever material you feel is useful after raising a mathematician training program. So we are at 8 a.m. In my clock, which means we are at 6:30. Sorry, 5:30 p.m. at your place. So I don't want to go over time. And thanks a lot. Thank you so much for joining this session. Thank you for people on YouTube and Facebook for joining this session as well. So Vinay sir, should we conclude the session? Can we stop? So I would urge you to practice this algorithm. Otherwise, you will not be able to remember this algorithm. So make sure that you practice this and solve a few problems. Okay. And if you have any questions, please feel free to ask badge these teaching assistants and volunteers. We can also have one help session where we can solve one more problem if you are interested. If you are interested, we can solve one more problem in that session. Okay. But I want you all to try first. I want you all to try first. Okay. So thanks a lot. Let me